I want to announce today a really exciting accomplishment, and that is the establishment of our quiet zones throughout our city from 15th Street South, and that will be effective today at 11:59 a.m. The goal for the quiet zones is, of course, to improve the quality of life for our residents who live along the railroad tracks. As I said, the quiet zones will go throughout our city from 15th Street South, and once the Brightline does its northern route and goes north up through the rest of our city, those areas will also have quiet zones. So I know that some of us who live on the north end of the city were like, where are quiet zones? But when Brightline comes along and goes north, we'll put quiet zones up in that area as well. I just want to tell you what that means. It means that the trains will not be required to blow their horns at intersections. However, horns may sound within the passenger stations, either just before they get into the station or just as they leave, especially in an event of an emergency. Once Brightline expands its service north, as I said, the city will begin the process of establishing quiet zones in those areas north of 15th Street. To establish the quiet zone, the city followed all the federal processes outlined by the Federal Railroad Administration. And we did this in conjunction with Brightline and with the Transportation Planning Authority at TPA. As you know, the TPA funded the quiet zones, Brightline built them, and what we have done as a city is we put on an extra layer of protection to make sure that the highest level of protection for our residents occur at the crossings at the train track. So we are officially at this point in full compliance. We received our go-ahead from the federal agency, and I've instructed my staff to, as I said, exceed the federal regulations. So we have put in additional resources to make sure that each of the crossings is going to be safe. And that includes physical improvements at the crossings, which will include safety signs and road delineators. And it also is a sweeping railway. We're also going to be doing a sweeping railway communications outreach campaign to make sure that people know that they need to be careful when they're crossing the train tracks. They need to be crossing at intersections and only when it's safe to cross. You can't beat the train. If the arms are down, don't try to get across the tracks. It's just not safe. This campaign is in conjunction with Brightline and with other municipalities, as involves safety messaging inserted into over 33,000 utility bills, education for our children at the library, community centers, schools, and in other area nonprofits. We've also amplified digital communications messaging on TV and in newsletters and on social media. We've also working to enhance the awareness and reinforcement by the West Palm Beach Police Department around the railroad tracks. So we'll be watching people. We cannot emphasize enough, first of all, there will be increased, faster, but quieter railway traffic along the corridor. We urge everyone to be safe and to make wise decisions around railroad crossings and the tracks. We have little signs out there that says, if you see tracks, think train. Please do that. Never, ever try to outrun the train, and never, ever trespass on the railroad tracks. We are calling on everyone to help us raise awareness of the quiet zones. Talk to your friends, families, neighbors, especially children. Talk to them about the quiet zone safety and help us to get this message across. I want to take a moment now to introduce our Assistant City Administrator, Scott Kelly, to tell you more about the quiet zones. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. I know the mayor is so anxious that she said that 11:59 a.m., but it's really 11:15. It's really p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
So
it was
we're all
happening at
anxious.
lunchtime.
No, we're all so anxious to get this done. So it'll be at the stroke of midnight tonight. So, but no, we're so excited because this is really a quality of life issue for the citizens of West Palm Beach in order to reduce the horn noise. And it's not just for the Brightline rail, but it's also the FEC freight trains that come through. So it's a historic day for us. We're really excited about it. We're going to continue to get the messaging out. We're going to continue also in regard to safety, continue to layer on additional safety improvements along this corridor to make sure that it's safe for all. And as the mayor said, we just encourage people, please don't trespass on the rails. Please observe all the signs and don't try to beat trains. It's just so important that we get that message out to everyone because it is definitely something that is important, that we value everyone's life here and that we want to make sure it's safe. Thank you.
Okay, so correction noted, please, 11:59 p.m. I was hoping to have a quiet afternoon in my office. Looking forward to it. I have asked Allie Sewell if she'd like to say a few words. Allie?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Scott. Brightline applauds the City of West Palm Beach for their communication outreach and their help getting the safety messages across. We, too, have also been amplifying our communications outreach as it relates to safety. Today, we will be installing 8 VMS boards in the City of West Palm Beach and Lake Worth along high-traffic intersections that say no train horn starting 5:14, and in Lake Worth, no train horn starting 5:21. Stay off the tracks. So we will continue our outreach with the city, and we, again, implore everyone to stay safe around active railroad tracks. Look, listen, and you will live. When the gates go down and the lights are flashing red, do not try to beat the train. Wait until the gates return to the upright position. Thank you.
Thank you. And I've asked Rick Rose if he would like to say a few words. Rick?
Thank you, Mayor. Perhaps you remember when you were on the City Commission and Lois Frankel was the mayor, you all appointed me the volunteer train safety liaison.
Right. We did.
Today's a really big day for the City of West Palm Beach because it's a quality of life issue, but it's also a safety, a public health issue. So it's really important that we don't rely only on the city to get out the message, and we don't only rely on Brightline, but it's really the responsibility of every citizen who lives near the tracks, families that you talk with your children, that everyone, we're responsible for keeping each other safe. So it's very, very important that we work together to get, to achieve that goal. The City of West Palm Beach has the unique situation that both sets of train tracks, the CSX tracks and the FEC tracks, come the closest together in our city. So we have the most train traffic of any city in South Florida in a very condensed area. So this is a very serious issue for our community, and I hope we all understand that. But it's a big day for us here in West Palm Beach, and I just want to thank the City of West Palm Beach for really leading the way, especially Mayor Muoio. You have been a leader on this topic since we met many years ago.
You didn't give me a choice.
I know. So thank you very much, and good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Okay, what questions do you have? No questions?
You mentioned that it's for the FEC tracks completely. So was this decision to get the quiet zones kind of spurred by the Brightline, but now all trains going on those tracks won't have to blow their horns? Is that? Yeah,
well, any train on this track will have to comply with the quiet zone. And certainly having the additional Brightline trains pushed it a little more quickly, and having the funding to have the physical changes made to the crossings so that they could be certified as a quiet zone.
So this will be a big change for people, not just with the addition of Brightline, but other trains that
Absolutely.
before that.
Absolutely. And I just am really concerned that people remember to be smart and safe when they're making their crossings, because they're not going to be hearing the train horns as they have in the past. Yes, ma'am.
How many intersections do you have in West Palm, Mayor?
I never know this number.
32.
Gordon?
32.
The 26 that are affected by the quiet zone.
We have 32, 26 of which are affected by the quiet zone.
As of midnight tonight?
At 11:59.
And Mayor, you mentioned that you've done a lot to keep everybody safe currently, but you also said there's things you're implementing going forward. forward. Can you talk about some of
Well,
those?
you want to talk about the additional things that we've done? We've already done them.
So we're kicking off a big safety campaign for rail safety as well as for all modes of transportation. You know, it's important not just for rail, but people be aware in regard to safety on all of our roads as well. So we're doing a very large safety campaign, but we're also looking for to apply for additional grant money to continue to upgrade all of our crossings for safety purposes, and the more safety improvements that we can make, the better, as far as we're concerned. So.
And we've added delineators, right?
Yes, and there were several crossings that were where there weren't improvements as part of the quiet zone, and we've added improvements at those. The city has actually done that to differentiate that, to make sure that people are aware that they're approaching tracks and that they don't try to run around the gates. So it's important that people observe that as they come to these intersections.
How much more concerned are you about safety now that we're not going to hear these trains?
Well, we're very concerned because we're putting this, and as a result, we're putting this energy into a communications campaign so that people are aware. Just want to make sure people are smart. You can't outrun the train. We've had some unfortunate incidences that should not have occurred, and I just don't want to have to hear about any more things like that happening.
Mayor, if I may add to that. So if there is an emergency, like somebody is on the tracks or there's a reason, the train engineer, both for Brightline and the Florida East Coast Railway, have the full authority to blow their horn to warn someone that that train is approaching. So just because we're in a quiet zone, if there's an emergency situation, they can fully blow the horn for safety first measures.
And Allie, do any other cities have quiet zones yet, or is this the first?
So the city of Miami has a quiet zone south of here, obviously from 71st Street to the Port Lead. Lake Worth apparently filed their NOE, and their quiet zone is scheduled to take effect, we believe, on 5/21. So we're looking forward to working with Lake Worth to also spread the message about rail safety.
What else? All right, well, thank you all for being here, and we're looking forward to a quieter West Palm Beach. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.